To become a sponsor of our show and have your business or event promoted on every single podcast platform, 2 Philadelphia radio stations on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. evening drive time, an FM station in New York, and to the millions of Facebook users worldwide with access to the Facebook mobile app. Send us an email to either foodfarmsandchefs@yahoo.com or diningonadime@yahoo.com.
And we're back. Amaris Pollock, introduce us to your fabulous guest.
Hi, everyone. And for anybody watching on YouTube, hello to you as well. Kyle, I would like to introduce you to our Food Farms and Chefs fans. And to our fans, I would like to introduce you to Kyle Laird, who is one of the owners of Armageddon Brewing Company in Somerdale, New Jersey. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. So, I actually was introduced to you and your brewery at by 2 of my friends, and you were the bar back actually at the time. But your brewery is interesting because you serve mead.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you guys get started with becoming a brewery that specializes in ciders and mead?
Yeah. So it is a bit of a misnomer because I think brewing sort of connotates that you're going to be brewing beer and there's no actual heat involved in our process. It's more akin to winemaking. But, I guess our origin was almost like kind of spite or like we could do this better. Christian and I have been friends for a while now. Christian is my business partner as well as Matt Olsen, my other business partner. We all own the cidery together. But Christian and I have been friends longer than I have been with Matt. We just, I met Matt through Christian. So we were friends for a while. In fact, our kinship started over craft beer. That's kind of how we kicked it off. But, Christian he had a run-in. He thought he may have had celiac. He was like misproperly diagnosed with it as far as we can tell, because he is able to enjoy gluten in all of its glory today. So it may have just been a temporary thing. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but anyway, that, at the time we were home brewing and he had this sort of gluten sensitivity pop up. And then he was like, well, I still need to get drunk. What can I do about this problem? And ciders presented themselves. And I believe he had actually a French style or maybe an English style cider. I wish he were here to confirm, but at a bar in Philadelphia called the Dandelion, and it was just so much different than what we had in the States. I won't throw shade at anyone, but certain large scale cider producers that were on the market just tasted overly saccharine. Tasted like a Jolly Rancher in a glass, and it just wasn't what we were looking for compared to this sort of drier and more robust style that you could find in Europe. And the same thing with that, well, sort of separate but parallel to that, I had known about mead ever since I went to visit some buddies up in Long Island, and they knew a guy with an apiary that was making his own homemade mead. And, I'm like 22 at the time. I'm like, I have no idea what this is. And my buddy's like, try it, dude. This is what the Vikings drank. Like, it'll make you want to raid a village. And like, I don't know if that's necessarily the vibe we're going for. But anyway, yeah, so I've known about mead for a while. Christian is another avid drinker, such as myself. We always like to try new styles and explore, new types of liquor. So I one day told him about mead, and he was really interested. And we went to the store to see what we could find on the shelves. And what we found was pretty terrible. So it was, I guess, out of spite or just, spite for these companies saying that this was mead, even though it was just a white wine with honey added to it. Or spite to these companies that are producing this overly sweetened cider, saying like, we could do this better. Let's try to do this better. And he started home making cider and mead out of his garage, and he had a real knack for it. I mean, the guy is a master at his craft, and he is our master brewer. Most of the recipes are his idea, and he's the guy that fine tunes them all. So we started making it, had a real positive reception with our friends and family, saw that there wasn't really a market for it, due to various legal reasons in this state. And we thought we could give it a go. We just, not that we hate our jobs, but, we all do our 9 to 5, jobs, and it's cool. I mean, I personally, I like my day job a lot, but it's a day job. It's not something that I own and, can sort of craft and guide based on how I want a business to go. I kind of just have to fall in line and do my job, which is fine. But, if we could try to start our own business, why not?
Well, speaking of starting your own business, it actually took you guys a little bit longer than normal to obtain the licensing and be able to open up your fermented drinks. We will avoid saying brewed because of the lengths that you had to go in order to raise awareness and change the laws so that you could actually create mead.
Yeah. Not just mead, but also cider as well, at least within the state of New Jersey. As far as I recall, there was no law or regulations on the books for mead. Like, you just couldn't make mead in New Jersey because it wasn't defined as a thing. So New Jersey regulators just didn't know what to do with it. And cider at the time, it fell under a limited winery license, which was fairly unobtainable, especially for, a startup business. I don't really remember all the specifics, but it had some pretty crazy stuff. Like, you needed to have like at least 3 acres of land attached to your facility. 51% of your product had to be grown on estate, stuff like that, which was just like, how can we do that? How can we even afford 3 acres of land?
Yeah.
Well, and at the time, I believe there was only one actual commercial cidery in New Jersey, which was Ironbound up in North Jersey. And that guy like owned the land and he planted like 10 or 20,000 trees. Like, he did the work to get under that limited winery license. But we wanted to open it up more. We wanted to do more small scale, something that we could actually afford, and not try to take out a huge business loan to buy land and buy trees and wait 6 years for them to bear fruit. So we started the process of, what do we need to do to get this law changed? And Christian and I had actually met through a mutual friend who was the son of our town's mayor at the time, Gary Passanante in Somerdale, who is still currently the town's mayor. He's a great guy. He's helped us out so much. And we came to him with our problem, and he had like some, connections up in Trenton. He was like, let me see what I can do, and talk to him. And that just started this process of, us writing and introducing a new bill to the state, and just trying to get it past assembly and then actually, voted okay on or signed into law by the governor. So we started this venture. We had this idea like back in 2012, and it wasn't until like Chris Christie's final year, like right before he left office, our bill finally passed assembly, got to his desk, and he signed it and passed it. And it kind of opened up the market for more meaderies and more cideries in the state, which it's still limited, but it's more than were before the law, and it's growing every year. So that's pretty cool too, to usher in a new industry.
That is a huge milestone, and that you have now, all of you have now, in order to brag about, and also, who knows what you're going to do with it, in the future. But now, speaking of your actual brewery, what are some of the different meads and ciders that you have out right now?
Yeah, so right now, we are unfortunately limited by the number of taps that we have. So we have 3 mead taps and 8 cider taps, but we have several more ciders kegged and ready to be drunk in the back. We just wish we had more taps, and same with the meads. But currently our mead lineup, we have a Discordia, which is our our most traditional style mead. It's just honey, water, and yeast, and we use orange blossom honey for that. Yep, there it is. There's a bottle of it, which we are now using different bottles, and we have a new label for it because we found a great artist that's been doing all of our labels, and fantastic work this guy's doing. So yeah, Discordia is like our most traditional. Then we have my personal favorite, at least that's on right now, maybe like top 2 of all time, Abyss, which is a black currant mead. And black currants, they've actually been grown on Christian's parents' land out in Pennsylvania, because currants are technically illegal to grow in New Jersey, because I think the state considers them an invasive species. So as far as I'm aware, you can't grow them in New Jersey, but we do grow them at my partner's parents' farmland, whatever, orchard. So those are all estate grown and picked and processed. I tell people it's like being hugged from the inside. I love it. And just this weekend, we put on our peach apricot mead, which is called Immortal Empress, which is very lovely. It's not as good as the Abyss, but it's pretty good. And all of these, we've gotten bottled, we've gotten labels made, we sell them out of the cidery, and we're like really like hitting the ground running now, trying to start distribution for these bottles of mead that we're making, because we want to get out there, we want the word to spread, and we want people to try good mead. Not that there aren't other good meaderies out there. I hear great things about Brimminghorn in Delaware. Melavino up in New Jersey, North Jersey, up in Union, is doing like amazing stuff. So is Beach Bee. But that's 4. that's only 4 commercial meaderies that I think are doing it really well. And I think there's a lot out there, at least still on the store shelves, that aren't.
Yeah. I know I've obviously, been to your location in Somerdale and tried your different meads. I've tried every single one that you've had on tap since sometime in December, I want to say. And I love every single, mead that you have out there. I got a preview of some of the meads that you have coming out. One is a cranberry mead, and then another one is a strawberry rhubarb one that I'm super looking forward to, because it's almost like biting the inside. It's like the inside of strawberry rhubarb pie. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I want to just make sure that we mention that you are going to be distributing at a new location as well.
Yeah, we just put our product on a store shelf, a Canals in Hamilton in North Jersey. Not the Hamilton in South Jersey, but the Hamilton in North Jersey. So that's exciting. That's our first actual being on a shelf, being sold at retail. That's not our own property. So that was a huge milestone. And every day I'm calling places. I guess it kind of works out. 'Cause I'm kind of a booze hound, so I go around searching for Japanese whiskey, and then while I'm at a liquor store, I can just drop off my business card and a sell sheet, and just say, hey, here's who we are, here's what we're trying to do. Do you have any interest? So we're forming those connections. It's a grassroots effort.
I mean, it's perfect too, because you are, as you said, you're one of a very select few places that creates mead. And I, leave it up to me to also tell my local liquor stores, hey, check them out.
Yeah.
Because it's really, really good. It's very delicious. So, I hate to let you go, but unfortunately we do have to say goodbye. So thank you so much, Kyle. Everyone go check out Armageddon Brewery in Somerdale, New Jersey. Kevin?
Thank
Right
you,
across
Kyle.
from Flying Fish. We're right across from Flying Fish.
Yeah.
All right, great. Philly,
Thank you so much for having me on.
thank you. PhillyRestaurantReviews.com for all information about the show. Emmer's Pot.
You can find me across social media at arpolicus, or if you'd like to be a guest or sponsor of the show, email me at arpolicus@gmail.com. And if you would like to contact Gene Blum, he is ibfoodie2 or ibfoodie2@yahoo.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you next week.